Hey everybody, it's Holly, your everyday life coach. And today on episode 23, we're talking about 15 ways to simplify your life. I'm in the midst of getting married and buying a new home. And what I find with big changes like this is that I thrive on keeping things simple. And this is really counterintuitive to what we've been taught, right? We've been taught to want more, get more, be more. But simplifying for me is really about getting rid of the noise, the extra, quote stuff, and just really spending time on what's important. And the reason why this is so important, not just to me, but truly to everyone, it's when we simplify, we are making time and space for what we really want. I mean, there's only 24 hours in a day, and we really only have so much room, literally and figuratively. So we just need to figure out from that, what do we want? And one of the things, the first way to kind of simplify your life is identifying that, what's most important to you. It could be people, it could be things. Write a list. This is going to be a little bit of homework and hard and uncomfortable, some of these things. But write a list. What's important to me? What's important to me? What do I want? Write that list, and then start to be you know what? Getting rid of the things that aren't. It could be people. It could be items. But figuring that out is definitely the first way to simplify your life. And then based on that, establishing some sort of goals that you want. Purging your stuff. Oh my goodness. And again, when buying a new home, you kind of go through this, but this is just a great way to simplify at any time in your life is to purge your bedroom, your bathroom, even your files on your computer. What do you not need? What do you get rid of the stuff? Along the lines of that is find your clutter zones and work on them. We all have these zones, right? The dining room table, the desk, the bathroom sink. Everyone has this zone that they dump stuff on because they just don't have a place for the things on there, or maybe they'll use it tomorrow. Look at your clutter zones and work on them, either by purging or, finding a place for the thing that you use every day. But that's definitely, one example that you can do. Another that I think all have a hard time doing is to learn to say no. And this is so hard for some people. But again, if we only have 24 hours in a day, and we only have the bandwidth to do so much, we have got to learn to say no. Because what we end up doing is when we say yes, we take away from the things that are important to us or the people that are important to us because we feel bad if we say no. So that is something that you can definitely work on in your everyday life. Another thing is kind of breaking down your to-do list into manageable tasks. I know for me, right, as I said, I'm moving, and, if you only look at that as you have to move, right? It's this huge, overwhelming thing. And we have all these overwhelming things that we need to do in our everyday life. But if we break them down into more manageable tasks, literally in our, if you have an iPhone, there's tasks okay, today, for that big overwhelming thing, I need to focus on this specific thing. I need to handle this specific thing. It takes away the huge overwhelming feeling and it makes it more manageable. So break down your to-do list into manageable tasks. Another way to simplify your life is to get rid of the negative thoughts. Ooh, baby, they are useless. And they are taking up too much space in your heart and your brain. And here's the thing, like they're not even improving your life, right? I mean, negative thoughts are not going to improve your life. So the thing that we all need to do is to take responsibility for what's going on in our heads, right? So, if you have these negative thoughts and of resentment, hate, bitterness, anger, you need to kind of check yourself and replace those with positive thoughts. This is retraining your brain. It is not going to be easy. None of this stuff is really going to be easy. But we have to get there. We have to get there to make our lives better. My suggestion is to go back to episode 11 where I talk about the power of positivity to kind of get you on track with that. Another idea to simplify your life is to disconnect, right? So disconnect from the internet, from the social media, what have you. This is so much noise that is happening. And with that noise, we want to be part of it. Again, we get negative thoughts from it. And most of the time, it's just worthless time. Time suck that we are doing with this. And we are not devoting ourselves to the things that matter. Another idea with simplifying our lives. Oh, I love this one. Ooh, stop buying shit that you cannot afford. That's right. Stop buying shit you can't afford. And I am at fault for doing this too. It's they have a payment plan for this. They have a payment plan, so it's fine. I charged it. I need this, right? Oh, I need this thing. It's fine. No, you don't. And we all fall in this trap. But guess what? You know what we worry about all the time? Money. And how do we stop worrying about it? Stop buying shit and going more in debt. The best way to do it is stop spending more than you earn. A couple of years ago, or it's been a while, I went bankrupt with my ex-husband. And when you go bankrupt, it is somewhat freeing because you can't get credit cards. So you are down to what you have in your wallet, so to speak, right? And so what you find is that if it's not in your wallet, then you cannot get it. And it really teaches you about the importance of stuff and clutter. So, this is definitely one that I challenge you is to stop buying shit that you can't afford. Because you're going to end up stressing about money. And the way to stop stressing about it is to stop spending. Another idea that I have about simplifying your life is to really grow out your routines, your daily routine, whether it's work or in your personal life. I go into this in great detail on episode 15. And so I would go back and listen to that and kind of start to say, okay, what kind of routines can I get in my life to kind of, simplify, my everyday life. one that I haven't done yet, but I'm really thinking about doing is wardrobe. So my fiance and I were talking this past weekend about this on like why some like higher entrepreneurs, I know like Mark Zuckerberg, he wears the same thing each day. And we found that really interesting because when you do that, there is no pretense. Like, you don't have to worry about what you're wearing. And there is no, like, this person has this, but I have that. Like, you kind of take that away when it comes to clothes. So it's like one less thing you have to focus on. It really, truly simplifies your wardrobe. And if you're like, listen, lady, there's no way I could do something like this. That's crazy. Clothes are my thing. I feel you. What I would say with that is like putting your clothes out the night before so that your morning goes smoother. One that's a great way to simplify your life is to plan your food for the week. To plan it and buy it for the week. And this takes out the stress of like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna cook? What do I need at the grocery store? Like, plan ahead, get it all situated, know what you can use for leftovers or, to make into something else. I'm big on that. But plan your food ahead. Oh my gosh, with Pinterest, hello, like, it's so easy to do this now. Oh gosh, another one I have is to complain less. Like, can you imagine if we all stopped to complain, how much more time we would have, how much more space we would have in our hearts and minds? Complaining less, right? That just gives us more just time. Like I said, it just, it kind of like, my heart just warms up with that. And that's about living a life of gratitude, right? Being grateful for everything that you have and the people that you have. I talk about this in episode 7, and I often go back to this too. But again, like, for me, I'm in the midst of like getting married and buying a house. And so, oh my gosh, there's like all different things that you could like get like complaining about or just stressed out about. But it's really going back to like keeping it simple and really focusing on the things that I'm grateful for. And the last one that I just, again, I like, it fills my heart. And that for some people is uncomfortable. It's being alone, right? Spend time alone. And this could be with like prayer, meditation, writing, reading. Like, being quiet is essential to a healthy life. I would say check out my episode 10 with this. I mean, when I was creating this episode 23, I was like, oh my gosh, so many of these things relate to other episodes that I've done. And it really is like creating a better life. It's not about the more, it's about the less. It's about deciding what and who is most important in your life and saying yes to them. Thank you for listening. This is episode 23, 15 Ways to Simplify Your Life, and I am Holly, your everyday life coach.